Tonight on CTV, cold weather brings both health and financial concerns.
Everyone wants an education despite schooling staff shortages, including a mountain lion.
Then the CSU basketball team gets a great start to their season. Find out how Fort Collins is brightening up people's futures.
All that and more starting on CTV Channel 11 right now. Good evening, Rams. I'm Weston Hubbard.
And I'm Kenneth Frederick.
After the jury in the Jonelle Matthews case last week found the accused Steve Pankey innocent for the crime of murder, but guilty for the crime of misinformation, the case has now gone to a mistrial, with a new court date in the works. Pankey is also receiving a new defense attorney after his previous attorney, Anthony Verst, withdrew from the case. His new defense and the prosecutors of the case plan to meet on November 17th in an attempt to find a date for the new trial to begin. As of now, the case has amassed over 24,000 pages of discovery, 425 audio recordings, and 22 days worth of trial transcripts. This case is sure to be one that many will have their eyes on for quite some time.
Saturday will be the first of 3 Bio-cybersecurity student challenges. The challenges are for any students with an interest in bioscience or computer science. Participants will be learning and using cybersecurity skills that are taught at 2 earlier sessions. The event is supposed to work with someone's technical and non-technical problem-solving skills in the world of medical technology. The student challenge is made by the Biohacking Village, a group of security specialists that work with hospitals around the world. Their primary goal is to get interest in the niche but highly important field. Another of Biohacking Village's goals is to promote a sense of literacy with personal medical data.
Actually, one of the things that we are trying to work on is a simple health literacy. We are trying to provide people tools and knowledge to have better tools, but also processes, and know a little bit more about how to decide correctly, be more informed about their own health.
Pekarova, one of the event organizers, said that higher literacy not only helps others, but the participants themselves. There will be another session for the Student Challenge on February 12th as well.
We reported a few weeks ago that the price of heating homes is going up higher this year. That makes it much more difficult for people with low income to stay warm with this weather, while the state's federally funded LEAP program seeks to help those in need. Larimer County community members that make up 60% of the state median income level may be able to qualify. The program won't pay heating bills entirely, but hopes to alleviate some of the financial burden that higher heating bills may incur.
Flu season is almost upon us. Flu tends to skyrocket in December and January, peaking right around February. But the flu can develop into worse complications like pneumonia. With hospitals already at capacity, this could be a serious problem. CSU Health Network is encouraging students to get the flu shot to protect themselves and other Rams who might be vulnerable. Viruses like the flu are able to spread with speed across campuses like CSU. The Health Network says that students can get a vaccine that will be covered completely by many insurance companies. You can get a shot at the Health Network with an appointment or at other locations in the community that offer immunizations.
Mobile home communities have been falling victim to corporate buyouts for quite some time, but one community in Fort Collins is trying to fight back against this. Members of Hickory Village Mobile Home Park have been told their community is being sold to a big corporation for around $20 million. Unfortunately, large corporations can actually buy land of plot like this that already have mobile homes on it, and they can take the affordable housing and make it to whatever price they want, therefore concerning the residents that are already living there. The community was prepared to fight back against the buyout, rallying together and creating a cooperative to pay $23.1 million to purchase their community instead. And despite all of their hard work, the owner of the land denied them, saying their offer was not high enough, and as the original offer of $20 million did not include a lot of other fees that they could not afford at the time. Intrigued by how something like this could happen, I went to Emily Francis, a city council member of the 6th District, who has a voice on the matter of how this keeps happening.
I've been advocating for mobile home parks and the residents at the state level for over two and a half years now. A year ago, the state passed new state law permitting residents to become resident-owned communities. It also means that you have to have 51% of residents say that they're interested in buying the park. And the process just was not very transparent for the residents of Hickory. People really like living in mobile home parks. But the issue is the inherent power structure in mobile home parks of owning your home but not the land beneath it. And residents always thought that it was stacked against them from the first place, and so they didn't want to do it again. They were just so defeated. And so now it's being sold to Haven Park, which is a Utah-based corporation.
With more and more communities fighting back against these corporate takeovers, the future of mobile home communities may continue to live on in Larimer County.
Following up from a story we covered a few weeks ago, in which Resurrection Christian Schools was attempting to get an exemption from Larimer County's COVID protocols, the school's attempt to set exemption has been denied. Beth Chambers, who is a part of the Council for Resurrection Christian Schools, stated that the request for the exemption was the question if the institute actually counted as being a school, since it's a, quote, private religious facility, and not to question the county's judgment of right and wrong. The school has yet to say if they intend to fight back against the denial of the exemption.
Colorado is spending a little over $1 million in order to reduce the recidivism rate, as well as boost employment and re-entry programs in the state. The Department of Corrections is hoping that the new spending will help keep people out of prison and in jobs. $900,000 of those dollars will be used for working with the Latino Coalition for Community Leadership and other organizations to create a system of businesses that will hire former prisoners. The rest of the money will be used on organizations that will help with former inmates with re-entry into society. Make sure you don't go anywhere yet, Rams.
After the break, Morgan Gardner will be here to give us the weather rundown for the rest of the week. Make sure to stay tuned.
Awkward. Do I look familiar? I should. You might remember me from here. Here. Or maybe even here.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
It can actually be a perfect moment to reach out to a friend and ask if they're okay if they seem down.
Doesn't matter how you say it.
You all right?
Everything's okay?
G?
You all right, girl?
Oh,
You cool?
you bugging dog.
Just show you're there for them.
Go on, Kelly. Susie awkward.
Hey, you haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Good evening, Rams. My name is Morgan Gardner, here to give you the rundown on all things weather. And right now, it is 46 degrees with some clouds out there as well. A little bit of wind coming from the northwest at 11 miles per hour, with some gusts getting between 10 and 15 miles an hour. Those gusts are expected to get a little bit briskier through the evening as well, and as we go into our overnight lows, we can see that in the temperatures dropping. Over on the eastern plains, lows in the 20s, Lyman at 22 degrees, while Lamar at 25. And over in the western corridor, areas such as Gunnison, Telluride, and Alamosa are down there as well, with, again, Alamosa at 15 degrees, which is pretty chilly. A cold front is making its way through the region tonight, stopping in those western areas, giving way for some snow throughout the evening up there. Breckenridge already has 8 inches of snow, so if you are an avid skier, the ski season is opening up tomorrow, so it is a great weekend to do that. And as we go into tomorrow's forecast, pretty consistent across the region. Highs in the 50s across all of the state, with a couple of exceptions, Vail at 44 degrees and Telluride at 45. Some standout numbers include Alamosa at 57, Lamar at 57 as well, and the highest temperature of the region tomorrow goes to Grand Junction at 58. And as we go into tomorrow's forecast, highs pretty consistent with what we saw today as well, almost an exact copy. 56 degrees with a low of 37. Intermittent clouds throughout the day, making it a pretty partly cloudy day, Wind coming from the southwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour, with some gusts expected to get between 20 and 25 miles an hour. So it is going to be pretty windy once again. Sunrise at 6:43 a.m. and sunset at 4:45 in the evening. And I don't know about you, but walking outside after class at 4 p.m. and it's dark outside is a little jarring. And speaking of that wind from the storm caused snow in the Lehigh County Tuesday evening, which spilled into the Denver area, yet it stopped short once again just before the Front Range. In place of snow, we received a lot of wind, gusts ranging from 15 to 20 miles per hour throughout Wednesday, making highs in the 50s feel more like 40s. And today, we saw the same, and even stronger winds are expected, especially along the foothills. Areas such as Jefferson, Boulder, and Larimer County should reach winds over 40 miles per hour at times this weekend, making it mighty brisk. So Rams, if you don't like the wind just as I do, I recommend investing in a windbreaker, some sunglasses to keep the dust out of your eyes, and you might want to avoid riding your bike when it is pretty windy outside. With no snow on the forecast, we can look ahead to enjoying fall a little longer, even if it is a little bit windy. And speaking of looking ahead, we're going to take a look at our 5-day forecast. Friday tomorrow at 56 degrees with a low of 37. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, highs relatively high, but Sunday is a little bit of an exception with a high of 59 degrees. Monday being the highest temperature of the week at 70 degrees with a low of 43. And Tuesday over there at 69 degrees with a low of 33. And as you can see here, it is partly cloudy throughout the whole week, so it won't be overly sunny or overly gray. And with that, Rams, that is all the time I have with you on weather this evening, but stick around after the break for more news.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break. Poudre School District has been short-staffed this year, and while it's slightly gotten better, they're still taking a chance to hire more. The school district is still short of around 30 positions, ranging from bus drivers to paraprofessionals. However, since August, Poudre School District has hosted plenty of hiring events, ads, and a plethora of other ways to connect in order to try and get as many people as they can hired into these positions. But they're still struggling. These shortages will affect the bus routes that pick up kids from school, the assistance that teachers receive, and the overall productivity of the school district as a whole.
The LeMay Avenue train overpass started construction all the way back in 2018, but it was delayed. Well, the new overpass is expected to be finished by the end of 2021. Construction has cost over $24 million over the last 4 years. It is also causing yet another total closure that started yesterday and will reopen tomorrow night. This will give crews an opportunity to mill and repave the intersection in preparation for the opening of the new bridge. The intersection of LeMay Avenue and Buckingham Street will also be closed during this time. The overpass is being put in place to reduce waiting times that are common at the intersection of Vine Drive and LeMay due to the frequent trains.
City Council is gearing up to start interviewing people to become members of the city's boards and commissions. It's been a long process that started in June and is expected to be completed by the end of the year. They've determined the vacancies in the boards and commissions and figured out on Tuesday how they will want to proceed. After 10 people are narrowed down from an application process, the council liaison and a random member of council will conduct interviews. For quasi-judicial roles, however, they will include the liaison, the mayor, and a random member of city council. The random council member for the quasi-judicial interviews was a big point of emphasis for Kelly Olson, who adamantly wanted to avoid giving more power to the mayor's office.
Whoever the mayor is, not personal, I happen to like Jenny, but too much authority that I don't believe is given by the charter, the code, to the mayor, and I think we should spread things around, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Members of the Fort Collins community are encouraged to apply for the positions. The interviews will take place later this month. The appointments will be confirmed and announced in December.
I don't know if I'd have the courage to apply for one of those positions. Speaking of courage, Odeya Elementary School is located in the near Fort Collins, so that would expect some traffic, maybe locals strolling about, but no one is ready to see a mountain lion. On Monday, November 8th, police responded to reports of a mountain lion in downtown Fort Collins, causing a warning to be sent out to those in the nearby area. Those warned were told not to approach the wild animal if spotted. While it was close to the elementary school, luckily no students were put in danger as Monday was a teacher work day only. As of now, police and animal services have not confirmed whether or not they captured or dealt with the mountain lion in the area. So, citizens of Fort Collins should be aware and very aware of their surroundings if they do head downtown. I don't know. A mountain lion in Fort Collins sounds so foreign to me.
You know, I went hiking like last year, and just before the sun even came up, just those mountain lion eyes, they really do pierce you.
I'd be terrified. I cannot do this. No.
Yeah. Well, Rams, that's all the news that we have for you tonight.
Coming up next, Cameron Evig will be here to feature an athletic Ram of the Week, as well as to tell you what CSU sports might finally do to make you a proud CSU Ram.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
How y'all doing tonight? I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. As you already know, my name is Cam, here to welcome you back to another week of Cam's Corner. Men's and women's basketball are both coming off impressive dubs on Tuesday. See how both teams blew out their respective opponents and what it could mean for their season outlooks. And of course, we cap things off with a Ram and Play of the Week. All that and more on Cam's Corner, starting right now. Tis the season. And no, I'm not talking about hearing Mariah Carey every time you walk into the mall, or your neighbor that put up his lights on the first day of November and won't take them down until early summer. It's the season for W's, because it seems like we're finally going to get some from a CSU team not named volleyball. Now I don't have to roast a Dazio every single week because CSU is officially a basketball school. Start things off with the women. They started their Tuesday night doubleheader in Moby Arena with a matchup against Colorado Christian at 5. And, well, the dominant performance, to say the least. A team breaking in 4 new starters seemed to have the chemistry they needed to put a beating on Division II Colorado College. The only remaining starter from last year, Michaela Hofschuh, had 10 assists, and Anna Prime and Callie Clark led the way with 14 and 13 points respectively. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from Coach Williams in this Rams program, but a win against a Division II Colorado Christian squad doesn't really give us much to go off of. Either way, though, the Rams showed a lot more cohesiveness as a unit than I expected in their first game, and it should be an exciting season for women's hoops. Their next matchup comes tomorrow when they host Northern Colorado, but UNC is from a pretty small conference in the Big Sky, so that outcome should look a lot like the one on Tuesday. The matchup that we can actually take some insight from will be when the Lady Rams get their own shot at Oral Roberts on Monday. For CSU faithful, let's hope for a result like the men had against the Golden Eagles. Hey, and speaking of the Golden Eagles, Coach Medved and men's hoop also had their opener on Tuesday right after the women's game when they battled Oral Roberts. Now for this one, I was wrong for like the second time ever. I honestly thought the Rams were going to have a relatively hard one in Moby, but it seemed to be the exact opposite come game time. But even if my prediction was off, the first half was actually competitive, with CSU clinging to a slight lead for most of the matchup's opening minutes and holding just a 7-point advantage at halftime. But in a second, the Rams, and specifically John Tajay, went off. Before the game, Nico Medved said that Tajay was going to start against Oral Roberts for defensive purposes, but against ORU, John decided he was not in to play defense. He was in to get buckets, and that's exactly what he did. The junior from Omaha scored a career-high 31 points against the Golden Eagles, the first 30-point scorer under Nico Medved. Now, we knew coming into the season that he'd have a huge role on this team, but no one expected him to come out and drop 31 points on night one. And his spot in the lineup meant that center Deshaun Thomas would come off the bench, and that new role did not seem to faze him. Scored 16 points and grabbing 10 rebounds to boot, recording his first college double-double. And looking at the stars, David Roddy and Isaiah Stevens only scored 20 points combined, but it clearly did not matter. The Rams scored 109 points, on a team that went to the Sweet 16 just last year. CSU is going dancing. Oh, it's just one game. Just one game. Regardless, the squad is shaping up to be awesome this year, and it continues tomorrow against Arkansas Pine Bluff. And now, to wrap it all up, it's time for the Ram and Player of the Week, and it's not really a surprise who the Ram of the Week is, so just take the John Tajay footage. 31 points. Career high. Smoked Oral Roberts. That's all you need to really know as to why he is our Ram of the Week. And if you were wondering if the future Ram of the Weeks are going to be all basketball players, the answer, yeah, probably. But hey, that's what we're best at. And John is the man of the hour. It's his show tonight. Might as well call it John's Corner. So run the Player of the Week as well. John Tajay capping off his large performance, picks his pocket. There he goes, the tomahawk jam. Woo! Sweet as sugar. And well, Rams, that's all I've got for you tonight. Be sure to stick around for entertainment with Tom Isaacson. I'll see you next week for some more hoops.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
How's it going, Rams and Ram fans? My name is Tom Isaacson, and welcome back to your Thursday night entertainment wrap-up. Lots of great stuff to talk about tonight, so let's get straight into it. And tonight we start with some news about Casa Bonita, perhaps one of the most culturally important icons in Colorado and certainly a favorite of mine. Back in August, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, creators of the South Park TV show and Colorado natives, reached an agreement to help pay for and keep the place alive. Governor Jared Polis asked on Facebook what Coloradoans wanted to see from the restaurant in the future, and I think most are in agreement. More cliff diving and more sopapillas. Now, students around CSU are getting their hands dirty to help Fort Collins residents get some spring cleaning done in November. The Fall Cleanup, a program through which students can volunteer to help residents here in town, has been booming, with the goal every year to help elderly people who may not be able to clean up from all the fall leaves. Brittany Mize, student at CSU, said, quote, "I think it's important to create connections between students and the city," end quote. I love seeing Rams get together to do awesome things. All right. It's that time of year. It's getting colder outside, stores have done away with all the Halloween decorations, and, like Cam said, Mariah Carey is back on the radio. Yep, it's the holidays. And in Fort Collins, the biggest indication of the season is brightening everyone's day.
Friday night saw Old Town Square packed to the brim with people, all waiting for something big to happen. A first in the year, the Old Town Lights.
Our community loves the holiday celebration, the symbol of the lights, and we're very fortunate that the lights last for an extended time in Fort Collins. So we get to go from the first Friday in November all the way to Valentine's Day, which I think it makes it really special.
Lining the buildings in the square, running all the way up and down College Avenue, the holiday lights illuminate the street and create a beauty unlike any other.
I think the purpose for putting up the lights is we are very fortunate that for a very long time, leadership in Fort Collins has focused on creating that sense of place. Who are we? What do we enjoy? The family-friendly aspect.
Of course, there are those that wonder and worry about what this costs.
I do think that the investment, I would use that word, for installing the lights and then, hosting them for 3 months. Winter in Colorado, much like any mountainous area, it does require a little inspiration to get off the couch on some occasions. So the support that it provides to our downtown restaurants, our downtown retailers, in so many different ways really adds to that economic mix. It makes it charmer, it extends your time, I think, how long that you enjoy downtown.
But in life, numbers aren't everything, especially when you have moments like this.
The Old Town Lights have consistently been my favorite part of the holiday season here in town. If you want to see some more beautiful lights and learn more about what it means to the community, check out the article done by my colleague Jack Patrick at College Avenue Magazine. Now, have you ever been to a golf bar, a place where you drink and play golf? No, not a golf course. This is indoors. Well, this chain of bars from Denver is looking to open a new location right here in Fort Collins. The South Broadway Country Club is eyeing the location that housed the Right Card for many years as its resting ground for its accurate golf simulators. Allowing patrons to play on more than 100 different courses and much more, it looks to be a huge hit here in town. I, like my mom, have never been a huge fan of playing golf, but maybe I'd give that a try. All right, Rams, as we approach the end of our show, it's time to take a look at the clip of the week. Is anyone at home a fan of drones? Perhaps you may own one. Now, one drone is cool, but what about hundreds? Well, if that sounds interesting to you, you're going to want to check this out. Now, come on. That was actually really cool. I love the idea of holograms, and this was quite literally bringing it to life. What a show. I hate to say it, but it almost puts the Old Town Lights to shame. Almost. And with all of that, Rams, we are out of time. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Don't forget to watch our sports show on Monday. My name is Tom Isaacson. Good night.